So, play. You can probably tell, but I'm a bit nasally and stuff. So, big turrets are also not firing, just like the smaller ones, pointing wherever I deem them they should. And that is more or less one way that you can set up a train to be loaded with various turrets. All of these are just using the default target tag, and I pulled some of these little target dummy actors and put them around the level, so that's that. And yeah, also the thing to remember is you can go for the train controller, and scrolling to train cars array, you could take and pick each of these cars and plug them in here, but if you ever make modifications to the actor and controller or anything, then this section here will get reset any changes made in the world's details panel, so I don't usually like making changes here. If I'm going to set anything up in advance, I like to do that in the level blueprint, so the level blueprint on begin play, it gets the player tram, which is the one at the front, and then the others in their order, adds them to an array in the order that I want them to, player train array, and then it will take this array and it will add it to the update train array event off of the train controller from the first tram car. If the first one has this set when it starts play, it will at the beginning of play automatically go and add that, update all the other cars that it should be following it to say, hey, you're in my train. So the result, a train with lots of guns. Lots of bullets, lots of green glowing bullets. And we've got our cannons with a nice little bit of spread so that they don't, you know, if they all fire at the exact same location, it's just more boring. This makes it look better. And we've got our point defense turrets. I was thinking of having them slide out as well, but that would have taken more time, and I'm already sleep deprived enough as it is. So, if for anyone who's noticed, it's been a fairly busy weekend for me with multiple updates to controllers as well as the various videos and tutorial things that I've been making and dropping out. So this is more or less how to take the trains and make it so that you can, from one train car, control turrets and weapons on all the others. You can also use this like if you've got a base defense game, you can make it so the player can manually control all the turrets with something like this. And you could also try and make a line trace, make it so that you will leave a little dummy actor that you set at the location wherever you're looking, and then all these things will have a line trace, and if they can't see that, then they could go and swap over to an AI turret controller, so it's like, how should I put this? Gun train. Imagine if we currently have our turret here, wherever it looks, we get that location. So what if from this location we had a special little actor that it's not visible and it doesn't collide, but it does block on some channel. It's something that will collide with a certain trace type. So we can have an invisible object that marks location of can stuff see and shoot at this. And then that object would be set to whatever our target location is. And then for all of these other turrets, we would have it so that they would do a trace to that location first before they do anything else. On a tick event, they would trace to that location. If they can actually trace to and hit that object, then they know that they can see the area that the player's pointing at and that they will be remotely controlled. But if, like, the player is pointing at something that's down here, so these turrets, they couldn't trace to and see it, then you could have it so it would activate its AI and start shooting stuff on its own instead. So something like that for base defense would be fun. For that, you'd want to reference back to the hybrid smart aiming AI player controller that I uploaded a bit ago, that video, since that would more or less have the basic stuff needed for that, so that you can swap it between the two on the fly. You'd more or less make it so that the variable that controls whether or not that is changed would happen, and then you'd also make it so the turret will, the AI, the main gun one, would actually find stuff on its own as opposed to just being given its orders from the little spotting one, like was set up there. So that might actually be another tutorial that I could make in the future. I don't know. This is, yeah. Frankly, I found this to be a lot of fun, just driving around and shooting. I am still a kid inside. Yeah, I could probably up that trace to like 25 or something, the radius on the sphere trace for these cannons, so that they're less likely to end up shooting themselves. They still do occasionally. But like right here, I point this way, I'm left clicking, and they're not shooting. Only that one at the end is, and now the others are start shooting. Take the train controller, flipped. So this will make the train go in the other direction. I need to flip the right other cars in the train too. Actually, if I'm going to do this, then why don't I just, yeah. You see, I am very tired. Direction, flipped. So, all of these are either flipped. And with that, the train will now be backwards. But if you want to know how to make it like you like, because I myself do like looking down the length of the train as I'm moving, then you can take it like this and take the, where's the, there we are, input value, float times -1, and with that, let's also take the default camera, where's the spring arm, there we are, C 180, and while we're at it, let's get the camera controller. So now the idea is that we're going to be driving our train from the back, is how it would be seeming. Also use relative rotation, because normally you'll notice that when the train is moving around, the camera will keep looking in the same direction. In the world, it doesn't rotate as the actor itself does. This will change that. So now we are on a train car that will be based on us pushing it. I'm pushing the forward arrow key, and we are moving forward like this. So if you want something like this, this is a way to get this type of effect. Unfortunately, the train controller does not really support having a train where you are controlling something in the middle, though you could have it so that the player possesses something in the middle and their movement inputs get sent to the actual engine at the front or back. So if you want to have the player in the middle of the train, you have to do something like that. Unfortunate, but in this thing, yeah, all the train cars have to have the actor in front of them to follow it, as it were. In this case, it's in front of them pushing them, but because of how it's set up, it feels like it's behind pushing them, but yeah. My hard drive is giving a warning, so yeah. Hope you all found this to be somewhat useful, and you'll go on to make some cool stuff with this. And even if you don't have the controllers, I'm sure the general idea of forwarding a target location and things, or having actors like these, can still be interesting ideas, like I said, with base defense or who knows what else. So, hope you've learned stuff, or having a good time, and I've said that like 10 times now, haven't I? Goodbye.